We will soon start this meeting in the shortest possible time. We are going to start. We appreciate those joining, and we hope to have a lovely presentation today, enriching presentations. We'll be patient a short while we will start. And the meeting for today is moderated, to be moderated by the Director of Family Health, Dr. Kolo. Welcome, Dr. Sylvia Bindan. We're happy to have you for today. That's great. And one of our distinguished presenter, Professor Karim Jika Yusuf. We are happy to have you online. We are happy to have former Minister of Women Affairs, Josephine Anini, online. We welcome you, which you did contributed very well yesterday. We indeed appreciate. Also, we could see online Ibrahim Sabo Adamu, you're welcome. We also have a distinguished professor, Professor Yemisi Kunle. You're welcome online. The meeting will soon start. We also appreciate and also welcome Tcam staffs. Indeed, they participated very well yesterday, and we expect nothing less today. We're happy to have Isaac Ibrahim.
Okay.
Happy to have my boss, Thomas Itili, and my bosses.
Hello.
From GIA.
Hello, Freeman.
Presenter and distinguished national coordinator online.
All right, thank you very much,
Dr. Saidu Ahmed.
Mr. Freeman.
He's doing
we're
great.
Waiting for the director. We're waiting for the director, Family Health, Dr. Salma Anaskolo, to join. Who's going to be the moderator for the day? Professor Jika, you are welcome, sir. And Mommy Josephine Aneni, the former minister, you are welcome, ma.
Thank you, Dr. Saidu.
Thank you, ma. Always we're profoundly proud of you, ma. When we see you, we feel that we're actually being supported. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, Dr.
Hello, everybody. Please just bear with us. We are waiting for the Director of Family Health, who is the moderator of the program. She will join us shortly for us to start. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think so. Okay. No, put it there.
Why is it not live?
Okay. Yes, once again, everybody are all welcome. Once again, everybody is welcome. Please, we are waiting for the Director of Family Health, who is the moderator of the program for today. Thank you very much. Please.
My volume is complete.
You know, if you speak as they talk to them, they hear you and say,
Dr. Said. Share string, we need to share string.
Please, once again, you are welcome to this second day webinar for this program. Please, we are having a small technical problem. We are waiting for the two directors to actually link up, the director alternative medicine and the director of family health, for us to start the program. All reserve apology on this account. Thank you very much. You're highly welcome. You're finished? No, we're starting now. I'm in a situation, please. I'll call you later.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Saidu, how are you?
John, you are welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We're just having some small little technical issues about the next 2-3 minutes. We'll be done and we start, please. We're waiting for the two directors to join. Director of Alternative Medicine and Director of Family Health, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Professor Omar, you are welcome, Prof.
That's okay. Let me see the meeting. Yeah, one. Shannon Lamanga, I should mute. I'm gonna mute to go why. So I can go ahead. Huh? Okay. Good chill. Gaya.
Hello, MEC.
On full screen.
I'm sharing screen up while
Okay. With this program. Okay. It's all right. Let's
Hello?
Hello. Okay. Hello. You're welcome,
Yes.
ma.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Saidu.
Thank you, ma. Now, I think we are going to start the program. The Director of Public Health, Dr. Salma Anskolo, she's online and she's going to
Family health.
Sorry, Mama. What is up? Apology. Director of Family Health. She's my boss, and what is happening? I don't know what's happening to me today. She's our boss and the Director of Family Health, Federal Ministry of Health. She will be the moderator and also the convener of this today's program. Ma, may you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank
Wale,
you very much.
share the agenda, please. Wale, please share the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Saidu.
Thank you.
HEPIQ-C.
You are welcome, ma. Hello, ma. Dr. Salma.
So,
Okay.
okay, the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you for introducing me. So now we move on to look at the agenda for today.
Yes,
from 2 to 4. So I think we should have the goodwill message to be delivered by Yemisi, the Executive Director, Help Age Nigeria. You are welcome, Yemisi. Can we have the goodwill?
Yemisi.
No, so no.
I'm on.
Well, I need a table.
Yeah, me see.
Yeah, let me see. Over to you, please. Can you go ahead with your goodwill message?
Executive Director, H Nigerian Foundation, please.
Okay, maybe we can move on to the next agenda.
Okay.
In case that the MEC is around, then we can take it again.
Okay.
So thank you, and I sincerely apologize for the little delay that we have. So maybe we can move on to the next presentation by pharmacist Zainab Haja Zainab Sharif on herbal medicine use in the healthcare of the aged.
Ma, we are taking Professor Abdul Karim Jika.
Okay, before Zainab.
Yes, we're having a small technical.
Hello. Hello,
Oh,
Dr.
okay.
Saidu, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear MEC now. MEC is around. Okay, Saidu, I've noted that.
Okay,
So I
thank
would
you.
suggest that we hear from the goodwill message. Sorry, MEC, will give you like 5 minutes because so that we can save some time.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
and you're
thank you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you. Good afternoon, representative of Federal Ministry of Health, the coordinator of HEPIQ-C, Dr. Saidu Ahmed, and all the participants present. I am Mrs. Oluwayemisi Oluwole, President of Age Nigeria Foundation, a foundation that cares and supports older people in Nigeria through programs and projects for them to enjoy their silver years. I have gained a lot from yesterday's presentation. There is no better time to discuss the topic than now. Nigerian alternative medicine is a huge potential that must be developed, and everyone here has a big role to play, especially the Ministry of Health. Our foundation deals directly with older people in Nigeria. We normally organize free medical treatments, and we give them free drugs and free consultations with the doctors. There is an alternative medicine we also give to these older people through our doctors, and it is called Jobeli. The foundation is in partner with the manufacturer and the owner of this alternative medicine. Initially, I had my doubts about it, but when we introduced it to the elderly, we got many testimonies. Sometimes they said they do use it because it is potent. The product is also popular in the US and in the UK, and it is being manufactured. The owner of this product is in Nigeria. I only use Jobelin as a case study of Nigerian alternative medicine known to me. I work directly with the older people, and sometimes I wonder, when I meet some of them, I feel, are these people old? Some are in their late 80s and in their 90s. And they have the vibes and they are active as if they're in their 40s. And when I ask and I interview them, they tell me that they don't even remember the last time they visited the hospital. They have alternative way they maintain their health. Our pharmacists, Ministry of Health, and other experts should work directly with us, and together we can identify the older people or the younger ones to bring out more generally acceptable alternative medicine that can be medically verified and are potent to prevent and cure other people's health issues. The Chinese had their own Chinese traditional medicine. They call it the CTA. and is globally recognized. We also need to develop Nigerian alternative medicine too in our country. I think people like Jobelin and other people that have this alternative medicine should be encouraged so that they can verify it and older people could actually have access to this alternative medicine. Because when we are looking at the older people, talking about poverty, higher percentage of older people falls under this category, and we need to really help them. We know the problems associated with this alternative medicine. First, we talk about the dosage. Maybe they do not know the actual dosage that should be used, like people do complain. And also the issue of one alternative medicine can cure 20 ailments. So I believe if the Ministry of Health and the other experts work together with these people and they test it and they know that these alternative medicines are good for this particular ailment and these are the dosages, I think we would have a breakthrough in this aspect.
Thank
Once
you so
again,
much,
I
Mrs.
commend
Yemisi.
the
Thank
Ministry
you.
of Health and HEPIQ-C for this wonderful initiative. Thanks and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yemisi, for that wonderful, good remark, and also for the encouragement for Federal Ministry of Health to continue to take the lead on that. Thank you so much. So we go back to the agenda, and I'm made to understand that we are going to take Professor Abdul Karim. Is that Dr. Saidu? Can you confirm that? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. It's Professor Jika, is the right person.
Yes, so we can go ahead and take Professor Jika. Professor Jika, you are most welcome. And I don't have the agenda in front of on the screen at the moment.
Yeah,
but
Professor
I welcome.
Jika,
I don't have the agenda on the screen right away.
Okay, Wale, please kindly share the agenda, please. And Professor Juka should unmute himself. Thank you. Professor Jika.
Can we have the slide, the agenda? But yes. I think, yes, I think we can go ahead to save time so that we don't waste so much time waiting for the agenda. So yeah, Professor Jika, let's hear your presentation, please. And we will welcome you and we will want you to try to keep to the time. Thank you.
Okay,
please
thank you,
go ahead. All right.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. The title of my presentation is Mental Health of Older Adults and Psychosocial Support during COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes. Hello, Prof. May you kindly share your presentation, please, on the screen, if possible?
I have to give, you have to give permission for me. The convener have to. I'm trying to share it as if it is not sharing. Hello, Dr. Saidu. Hello.
Hello, Professor Jika, can you share your presentation?
Yeah, Dr. Saidu, I have an observation. I'm trying to share it. It is not recognizing it. The
there's a button there, share screen. You just press on it.
Yeah, I press on it. The convener has to give permission.
Have you sent your presentation to them, please?
Yeah, somebody is sharing. Somebody is sharing a window. Somebody is. You have to close down the agendas if I'm to share my.
It is closed. You can share your screen. You can share your screen.
Okay, you can share it now. Thank you.
Is it on? Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You can press on the share.
I
Screen.
pressed on the share button.
Yeah.
Is it coming up? Okay,
Not
it's
yet.
telling me an error.
Wale, don't you have the presentation?
No, it
doesn't
has
have
not been
to-
sent.
Okay, can I send it now quickly to you by email?
Yes, you can forward it to the email. Given.
But meanwhile, you can start. Maybe we can go ahead with the presentation.
Okay.
You can send it to him while trying also.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yusuf Abdul Karim Jika. I'm a professor of psychiatry of the Ahmad Bello University, Zaria. My topic of presentation is on mental health of older adults and psychosocial support during COVID-19 pandemic. As we all know, the population of elderly people or older adults is increasing in all parts of the world. This increase is more prominent in terms of absolute number in low and middle income countries of the world. It is a good thing that more and more people are living longer, and this can be attributed to improvement in medical care and other services. But it comes with a price. The increase of population of older adults is associated with increased burden of biological, psychological, and social problems. To worsen the matter, these demographic changes is taking place at a time the low and middle income countries are facing economic challenges and disintegration of traditional family setting, which translates to less support for the elderly people and also number of elderly people that are living alone, thereby reducing social networking among the elderly. The advent of COVID-19 created a great challenge to the well-being of older adults and their carers in all parts of the world. These challenges are arising from the advent of COVID-19 can be divided into three. It can either be biological, psychological, or social problems. I'll begin by discussing the biological problems. Being infected with COVID's novel coronavirus can create a lot of physical problem or biological problem for the older adults. Statistics from all parts of the world have shown that the older adults are more affected by this disease. And also the mortality is higher among older people. Looking at neuropsychiatric complications that can arise from this illness, one which is very common is the issue of delirium arising from infection of brain cells and also metabolic derangement. Studies have shown that just like the retroviruses, the COVID-19 virus have predilection of affecting the brain. And that's why one of the common symptoms affecting people infected with this illness is the issue of loss of smell and loss of taste. Another complication is viral encephalopathy, which is generalized inflammation in the brain and can carry a very high mortality among the elderly. The other problem is cognitive impairment. The infection with COVID-19 can lead to cognitive impairment, which can be temporary or permanent in the elderly.
Professor, they are complaining they are not seeing you. We need to adjust your sitting chair so that people will see you. Please, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for the inconvenience, for the interruption.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Not yet, sir.
Okay.
Still not yet, sir.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'll change my position.
I think so, sir.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I think we are seeing. Yes.
Okay. As I was earlier saying,
Come forward. We are not seeing still, please.
can you see me now?
Yeah, we're seeing the cap only. You need
Okay.
to pull the laptop. You need to pull your laptop forward towards yourself, please, so that you
Okay.
see.
Can you see me now? Is it better?
Yes.
Dr. Saidu?
No, not yet, sir. We're only seeing the cap on the
Okay. Can you see me now?
No, you are
Hello,
backward.
Dr. Saidu?
You are
Huh?
backward. Sir. Yeah, you are like backward. We're not seeing you. We're only seeing the cap.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Now, yeah, now
Huh?
we're seeing you. Yeah, we're seeing you now.
Okay. As I earlier said,
Thank you, Prof.
The biological problems ranges from delirium, which in most cases, people will call it acute brain disorder, and then viral encephalopathy and cognitive impairment. These are the common complications, neuropsychiatric complications, affecting older adults infected with COVID-19 virus. Then let's look at what are the other problems? The other problem are psychological problems. And one of the most common problems with this COVID-19 pandemic among the older adults is the issue of depression. This depression can arise either by loss of people that are close to the older adult, or decrease in social networking, or the issue of income, because the effect of this virus has significantly affected the economy of the whole world. Abnormal grief reaction or prolonged mourning of loved one is also common. And then we still have cognitive problems to deal with in the elderly people affected by this virus. Another important psychiatric manifestation or psychological manifestation of this infection is the issue of mass hysteria and anxiety. People are scared of being infected, or they keep thinking that they are infected. This leads to a lot of anxiety in the older people and carers. The next problem is the issue of post-traumatic stress disorder for those that are affected directly or a close relative is affected. And post-traumatic stress disorder can cause a lot of damage to the health of elderly people. The next we are going to discuss is the social problem. With the restriction imposed by the COVID-19, there is increased rate of loneliness among the elderly people. People don't come to visit them, except when it is absolutely necessary. They find it difficult to socialize with people, thereby decreasing social networking among people. Having listed all these problems, what are the ways forward? First and foremost, irrespective of whatever is going to happen, we need to integrate mental health services to the care of patients with COVID-19, both during the pandemic and also after the pandemic, because this is the only way we can ensure a healthy life among the elderly. And as reported by WHO, there is no health without mental health. And you agree with me the mental health services for elderly is given low priority, except with the coming of the program launched, I think sometime in 2018 or 2019 by the Federal Ministry of Health. The second aspect that we can deal with some of this problem is the issue of educating informal caregivers on the needs of older people. They need to be loved, they need to be cared for, and they need socialization with their peers, children, and grandchildren, despite the restriction placed by COVID-19. And then lastly, provision of toll-free line for support of older adults that do not have people capable of providing care for them, and also where they can seek help in case they come down with any of the problems, either biological, psychological, or social problems related to the COVID-19 pandemic. On this note, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Professor, for your own presentation. It's very highly educative and we're very elaborate, able to actually analyze all the pathological problems associated with it and other associated social problems all together. And the highlight of no health without mental health is indeed a very important thing that we must actually consider. From the Federal Ministry of Health, we are working so hard in terms of actually ensuring real integration of the mental health at the tertiary level, secondary and the primary healthcare level, with the minister is highly committed, as you know, and many of other colleagues are aware. And also integration of the mental health also to go along with the care of the older person is also very critical, because you cannot do it without actually addressing the mental health issue. So thank you very much, Professor, for your presentation. And we'll have to wait for the question and answer sessions where people will ask questions and for you to actually respond. We'll go to the next speaker. That is the Director of Alternative Medicine for our own presentation. Dr. Kolo has actually attending meeting with the minister right now, but she'll join us back. She'll be with us shortly. So for the meanwhile, I'm going to call the Director of Alternative Medicine, Hajia Zainab, to make her own presentations. Hajia Zainab, please. Hello? 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 Is Hajia Zainab with us? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, you're welcome, Hajia.
Hello?
Yeah, welcome.
Sorry, everybody. We talk of traditional dance. Nobody says anything. When we talk about traditional foods, nobody says anything. But when we talk about traditional medicine, people begin to say it's not good, it's very bad. And your own system of healing that you inherited, God gave every community. He knew along the line there is going to be a disharmony in the existence of mankind through ailments or otherwise. So definitely every community, because God knew this, he gave the power of healing to some individuals. And those individuals are the ones that can be able to manage and treat the ailments that are either inflicting humankind. So that brings us to say that you cannot say your traditional medicine is wrong. But what you need to understand, the aspect of traditional medicine that we scientists are looking into or of our interest, there are aspects For the purpose of the audience, it's good to understand that when we say traditional medicine, it has so many components. And the components, just to mention a few, you can hear traditional vet attendants. They are in the community delivery services. Are you going to say they are wrong, or are we going to eliminate them? All we need to do is to be able to appreciate their work and maybe improve them in their life, quality of their services, which can be done at local government level up to community level. Let's also
Ajia,
say that
Ajia, please, the participants are. Hello, Ajia.
What they call circumcision.
Hello, Ajia.
Traditional people that
hello, Ajia. Hello, Ajia. Hello, Ajia.
And you
please.
have just finished talking about mental health.
Ajia, they are complaining. Then you need to turn on your video, please.
Hello?
Participants are complaining that you need to turn on your video.
I am battling to try. I couldn't connect. No. Just, are you okay now?
No, you are not. We're not seeing you. There's a complaint in the chat that they want to see.
Okay, try. They want to see me. Okay, wonderful.
Hello? Hello? Like there's a bad connection from your side. You may wish to continue like this, maybe as the connectivity improves.
The laptop is not trying, we're trying to connect, but I should continue my lecture provided they are. Hello?
Yes, you can continue, please.
Okay. You know, I was talking about some basic clarity. Herbal medicine, which is our focus, is just a component of traditional medicine. But it's not even only tradition talking about herbal medicine. We are talking about plants, and for the medicinal plants, the whole umbrella of herbs, which are mostly syrups. Okay, so that gives us the plants. But when we come to talk about saying focus of the elderly, they are using medicinal plants, it's better for us to understand that what really happens at the elderly stage of life, like we said yesterday, you discover that the population are mostly in the rural area. Why? Because there has been movement by some elderly people who have either retired or want to change their lifestyle and back to their own domain. They are where they were born or where they feel they have now. Some people go there to deliver after retirement. They find it necessary. They have to go to the community to be able to participate in the community's activities. That gives them a total change of life. So
Mama wants to charge the phone.
Ajia, in view of the poor network, Ajia, in view of the
elderly in the community.
Ajia, in view of the poor network that we cannot see you, may you kindly share the presentation also, at least so that we can have an alternative.
I will do that. I'll do that later. I'll do that. Does it mean they are not hearing me?
Yes, they are hearing you, but at times the network is not good and there is no presentation and they are not seeing you. So they say in the chat, this and there are complaints on that.
Hello, the major
can you
thing
take
is
the
that
next speaker? Let me try and sort out myself.
The major thing is that we cannot see you, but on my end here, I can hear what you're saying clearly.
We are hearing you very clearly.
So I think the most important thing is to hear me in this case now, while I'm trying to correct the measure of seeing me. Okay. I think he's hearing me that is important for now, so that I can give the message, and along the line, even you must see my face. But I'm doing my, okay? So if you can hear me, I think it's very important. Is that okay?
Go on, we can hear you.
Go on, we can hear you. Well, I can hear you very well.
Thank you very much. So like I said, the quality of life will definitely change because you have moved to another time of existence. You are in the rural area, like the earlier mentioned about the psychological and the mental support. You find that these things are totally different now. You are in the community, and as somebody who has done services maybe from the urban now to the rural, if you are within your community people, you want to give them support. And then we look at, now that you are in the rural area, what is the environmental factors? You look at people who go to the local community area, you wonder that their quality of life in terms of feeding, you try to see that some eat fresh vegetables. The vegetables are near the farm. So they get these things very fresh, you know, and then they get them natural, okay? And then they have peace. There is peace, no hustle and tussle, no rush life that we used to do, no die hard fighting for fights to do corruption or to do what is wrong. But now your life, that is when you even try to be more closer to God, because it's very important as the elderly life goes on, you must always, when we define health, we said it's a complete state of physical, mental.
When I'm doing something on phone, don't distract me.
Mental, we have said mental, physical, social, and spiritual.
If you are not represented, you meet your phone. And you, yes.
All those things must come to play. That is very, very important in the aspect. So let me now say, you realize that, for example, there are two issues. The elderly that is healthy, that doesn't have any morbidity disease. For example, he's not hypertensive, he's not diabetic, but he's just growing gracefully. What will be his lifestyle with herbs? Or the elderly that has these chronic diseases, what will be his lifestyle? We must recognize that. Let me start with those who have been exposed to or who have chronic diseases. Diabetes, hypertension. We wish to stress the fact that you must continue to take your medications. This was emphasized yesterday. The moment you go, even if you go to your community, you go home, you must begin to take your medications seriously. Don't forget your medications. Take them, and when necessary, seek for advice. But what is the role of herbal medicine? You know, herbs are foods. They can be used as foods and they can be used as medicine. All the things you eat, your tomatoes, your onions, your garlic, your ginger, all these are herbs and they are foods. So is there any elderly person that will tell me he doesn't use any of this? No elderly, no human being will tell me he doesn't use it. So at times when we are experts in this field talk about herbal medicine, they just criticize because there is a lot of ignorance, not knowing that the person who is saying it too is already taking herbs, either as medicine or as food. But For those of them that are exposed to scientific evidences that we see what is their role, that is where we need to understand them and be able to use them carefully. If pharmaceutical medications, what is happening to your liver? What is happening to your kidney? Your kidney for long has been on these medications. Your liver has been on these medications. Recognizing the fact that I'm glad you are all seeing me now, recognizing the fact that there are 5 organs of detoxification. Organs of, okay, the lungs, the organs of detoxification. So we want well-being.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
I'm
Dr.
hearing.
Seidu and all, I just came back, but I think if we have our video switch off,
hello.
If we have our video switch off, it will enhance the network activity. Except for those that are speaking, then they can have it on, because I can see most of all are struggling with a very weak network. That is why we can't even hear from the pharmacist Zainab. So can we move on, please? I just came back, Dr. Saidu.
Hello, can you hear me? Can I continue?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Saidu, am I okay? Yeah, I've tried to see. Can you see me now?
Yes,
yeah,
very well.
Dr. Saidu, I'm
Yes,
on now.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I am talking about, you know, I really, like I said, the elderly people have some common challenges, which we know is basic. Their digestion is slow generally, okay? Elimination is slow. They often have constipation, okay? And then they need to look at that stage, their basal metabolic rate, what we mean, the ability to break down foods is low. All these are things that are common in the elderly. So that is why we say it is always important for the elderly and even general for everybody to look at what we mean by detoxification. Detoxification is where you remove waste from your body. Because I always equate detoxification to look at a gutter. If the gutter is filled with so many dirt, the water cannot flow. Breed there and cause diseases. But once you clean the gutter, what happens? Water flows freely. We must recognize that all of us are filled up with toxins. It is very certain on non-elderly. The only advantage is the youths, the children, so they can easily activate their system and grow older. The elderly is able to eat fresh vegetables, which helps him very well in his detoxification. You see that fruits are in season in the community, so the elderly is in the community. And I must recall to them what area have more need to focus on quality of life using all the fruits and the vegetables around them. And I want to say that God has given us these fruits and vegetables. We call them all fruits and vegetables are called herbs, and they are herbal medicine. Because when you say herbal medicine, they say, no, where is this? We are emphasizing on the nutritional aspect, which is very, very important. And then it is important for you to take care of your skin, because skin is one of the organs of detoxification. May I say the emphasis that is also very important, that you realize that this our common native soap, the black soap, is very good for cleansing the skin. You discover that it's not hard. It is a bit harsh. You can add some quantity of honey and palm oil to dilute the harshness of the soap. But we have recognized that most of these soap that we use, our parents use it, they are good for the skin of the elderly, not harsh. It is important. And then the cream, there are few oils that we use, coconut oil if you can afford it, which is okay, so that the elderly must also look very beautiful, handsome, and graceful. That is the purpose of saying you grow healthy and you grow gracefully. And along the line, we encourage herbal teas. What are herbal teas? Herbal teas are simple infusions that you take in boiling water. Every elderly person should have the habit of taking simple herbal teas. And I'm going to give you some example of these simple herbal teas that you have around you. You are used to the common tea, because I cannot call the name, I'm not branding or selling, but we have these teas around us. Simple basil. What is basil? For the purpose of understanding. Basil is efiri in Yoruba, unchau in Igbo. What most people, which is well known, the elderly put it in their yam porridge. They don't know why. It is to improve digestion. You can take that same basil and make it as an infusion. You take it as tea, okay? It will reduce what we call digestive stress, because that is part of the problem of the elderly, digestive stress. So basil is everywhere. We can take that. And scientific studies have been done a lot about basil as being one of the most commonest safe herbal plants, teas that can be used. But we are asking that you use it with care. You can take 2 to 3 teacups. You may ask me the dosage. After all, you put some in your pepper soup. But I would advise you can take 6 to 8 leaves of the basil, crush it, put it in a teacup, pour boiling water over it, allow it to infuse gently. For extra benefits, you can add lemon and honey, because you need to warm up. The elderly's body system needs to keep it warm, because we are always prone to, you do have some chills by the nature of your aging skin, okay? You must also look for things like ginger and cloves. Lemon. Hey, crush your ginger with your lemon and cloves, put them in a container, put it in the fridge. Where necessary, you scoop 1 teaspoonful of that mixture. Scoop 1 teaspoonful of that mixture in a teacup again. Pour hot boiling water, allow it to infuse for 5 to 10 minutes. This is a good infusion that the elderly can always use. Now we can see anise. Anise is all over. If your father is in the village, those of us that live in the urban areas, try and get some of these things to your family in the community or to the elderly people you have. They are there in the market. things like cinnamon, things like anise, okay? These are things that improve digestion. It is very important they have good digestion. If you don't have good digestion, even our medications cannot work very well. You need to have good digestion. And the importance of some of understanding these infusions is that those diseases, we have chronic diseases, your kidney has been overburdened, your liver has been overburdened. Let us now focus on our liver as elderly people. There are plants we call hepatic plants. Hepatic plants are plants that are meant for the liver. They are supposed to help our liver. Your liver, remember, is busy carrying out the metabolism of your drugs. So let us give the liver its food. What are the food that you can give to your liver? If you look around, you may be shocked to hear that bitter leaf is a food for your liver. So take note, bitter leaf is a food for your liver. I try to look at things that are common in our locality, things that we can always look at, okay? Things that are available, than things that are around us, okay? You have, in the rural area, it may be difficult to have beetroot, but what people do now in the urban area, you buy your beetroot, you slice your beetroot, dry them. You can dry them in your oven, make a powder of that beetroot, put it in a container, take it to your granny or the elderly you have in the village. He can always to feed his liver. Then I like to give a simple formula, always, a juice, what we call life juice. Life juice because they are freshly prepared. You can take 5 leaves of bitter leaf, 5 leaves of bitter leaf, okay? 4 leaves of basil, 4 leaves of basil. Then you look at lemon. Take 1/4 of that lemon, 1/4 size of lemon with the bark on, okay? I've told you bitter leaf, I've told you basil, I've told you lemon, and if you have cucumber, you can take half medium size of cucumber. Can you see those ingredients? You can chop them, because not every village that have, maybe you don't have electricity, but you have electricity, just blend it with an average size of, let me say, water. I'm trying to measure a glass of water. So when you take a glass of water, you get the juice. We call that fresh life juice. So you now take that juice. So we must wash and clean for the liver. By so doing, you are making the liver to work better in eliminating even your medications. Those of you that are in the chronic ailments. That is why at times the long-term toxicity of our orthodox drugs is what happens to the liver. But when we support the liver and kidney with these natural things that they like, it will go a long way in improving the quality. What is the kidney? The kidney needs something diuretic, a flusher. Hibiscus, always make sure you have your hibiscus in the village. Hibiscus zobo is something that you should always have handy. It's a flusher. We now see the watermelon, even the back of watermelon, use it. Your citric fruits, use it. And the leaf, the lemon leaves you have around you. 3 to 4 lemon leaves, crush it, make an infusion of it. You now add you now add honey to give you a taste. These are things that we need, that the elderly should always be available for him to take. And I need to talk also, you find that one of the common ailments of the elderly people is bone problems. They cannot rule out bone problems, rheumatism, arthritis. You see them, mostly you see them always feeling chilly. Once you are not comfortable, you are feeling cold, put on your cardigan, And you try to have some of these essential oils. These essential oils are available in the market. Those of us that have grannies, elderly parents, buy these things and take to them. You have aboniki, I mentioned yesterday. You have eucalyptus. You have some of these ointment we used to have before. You liniment. You buy this, take it to them. Once they feel uncomfortable, they can squeeze it. You can mix your shea butter with aboniki for your muscles, your joints. It's a very common problem among the elderly. I have talked about fresh life juice, which is very important to help in digestion and also to help to maintain the quality of life of the elderly. I've told you because when you take vegetables as fresh as possible, as less cooked as possible, you are feeding your body with what we call phytochemicals, antioxidants. Turmeric is all over. Turmeric tea is God has given us. So if you don't have it in the north, you don't have it in the south, buy it from the north. That is why we are Nigerians. There is something in the north that is not in the south. There is something in the south that is not in the north. So we can always get these things across to our people. You definitely make sure that you have a small cupboard for the elderly, clean cupboard, where you put some of these, what we have said, powdered herbs around them. Let them see their ginger powder, let them see their garlic powder, let them see their turmeric powder, let them see their anise powder, let them see their bitter leaf, dry it and keep it around them, basil, dry it and keep it around them, so that they can always play around, take these infusions. And they should try to eat less of beef. Yes, as you grow elder, don't take too much beef because it will increase what we call acidity. Acidity is not good. You must understand that is why some of us have high rate of ulcer, because your body did not digest the food very well. So there is fermentation in your stomach. I'm sure most of the elderly will tell me they experience this thing. High fermentation will lead to a high acidity. And this is because you take too much, your body cannot digest. Leave meat alone. Especially those of you during burial ceremony, you'll be eating red meat. The best thing for you as you grow older is fish and chicken. Fish is available in the community. Always try and encourage yourself and make fish soup, and goat is even better than the beef. So these are foods that are good for the elderly. I want to talk about the pap, okay? Pap is beneficial. All this guinea corn, millet, when you go to grind them, make sure you leave some of the shaft on, because we need fiber. The elderly need fiber. They need fiber from this food so that they can be able to digest easily. Of course, traditional dances. I'm looking at this thing holistically because the elderly must feel belong. We said physically, mentally, socially. So he must feel in the environment. Those traditional dances you missed when you were in the urban area, you are now focusing. It improves the quality of your life. You participate actively. You draw your people, you are happy seeing your people, and you try to listen to the traditional folk stories and all that we have been told either by stories by grandparents. So these are things that improve the holistic. If you focus only on your medications, you are not improving the quality of your life. You must do encompassing situation. Eat natural foods, more than enough I've said. Participate in religious activities, very important. Be kind and helpful. We are told in the villages there are witches and wizards. We don't know because we have not seen, for those of us that we are saying. What we believe is improve the quality of your life. Pray to God so that we old gracefully and we also age gracefully. I'm sure I have given you some health tips, some important medications, and some important herbal remedies for you to understand that it is very important you have some herbal remedies with you as an old elderly person, because you've been there right from when you were born in the village. you are taking some of these, can tell you not. The moment you feel fever, try. You have some gestid for digestion. These are basic first aid kit you should have. You must have your paracetamol around you. You must have your gestid around you. You must have simple cough mixture. These are common things because I am discussing from the pharmaceutical angle and also from the herbal medicine angle. A combination of this knowledge is the good way to go. Okay, so that when you have mild symptoms of fever, you can just go in and take your paracetamol. Follow it up with maintenance therapy of your tea infusions that I've said. I think I need to apologize that I was, maybe if you did not hear me, but I'm sure at the end, maybe you have been able to get some of my points, and I will wait. I'll wait. Thank you very much.
Hello?
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 Yes?
Sorry, I've been talking. You haven't been hearing me.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah,
Have you heard me?
Yeah, we're hearing you now.
Okay, so okay.
Yes,
so let
okay
me start.
now.
I was appreciating
I can hear you now.
Zainab for the wonderful presentation, quite interesting, very educative presentation that she made. And I was saying that it's quite interesting that we would have loved to have her to continue on and on and on, but because of time constraint, we have to stop and then engage with her one-on-one and also take some few comments. I am particularly amazed by the way she presented naturally our foodstuff around us, that we don't take them seriously, but also to know today that they have maximum impact on functionalities of our liver and also that of our kidneys, increasing productivity as of the elderly, as she rightly said, so that we can, elderly can age gracefully, and also I add with dignity. So thank you, Hajia Zainab, and then we can take some few comments and then move on to the next presentation as it is on the agenda. And then I would suggest also, if you have comments, you can share it with us through the chat box. And then by a raise of hand, you can also make your comments very brief. Thank you.
What I say, local eucalyptus oil, wali. I want.
Hello?
Hello? So in the absence of any comment, maybe you can send it through the chat box in writing. I will move to the next presentation, which is on mental health and psychosocial support.
No, we have done that, Ma. The next presentation is
okay, sorry, it was the time I stepped out when Professor Abdul Karim was presenting. Yeah, sorry, I had to step out and ask Dr. Saidu to continue. So, okay, now we go back to, I think we continue to Dr. Saidu Ahmed's presentation on the national health response to healthcare of the aged and the challenges. So over to you, Dr. Saidu.
Okay, Ma, please, I want to share my slides, please.
All right, thank you, go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Hello, are we together?
We can hear you, Dr. Saidu. Please go ahead.
I've shared my slide. I don't know whether you have actually seen it.
I can see it, and I hope others can see it as well.
All right, thank you very much, Ma, for the opportunity given to make a presentation on the Nigerian response to healthcare for the aged and the COVID-19 COVID-19 pandemic plan that we're preparing. I'll be talking briefly on the intro, which according to this outline, the introduction, common challenges of the older persons in Nigeria, the national response for the healthcare of older persons in Nigeria, then what are the achievements of our project, HEPIQ-C project from 2016 to date. Basically, as we all know, what Professor Jika was talking about, that the aging population in Nigeria, just like many other countries, is ever increasing. However, it is increasing also with a corresponding demand for healthcare to support the potential health problems associated with it. And these problems actually also pose a threat to the COVID-19 pandemic, which affects mostly the older persons in Nigeria, in line with the global trend. Nigeria being most of the populous nation in Africa and seventh in the world, which almost estimated over 10 million Nigerians who are over 60 years, that makes it to a very serious issue. This population of 10 million is equivalent to about the population of 3 to 5 small African countries. So imagine you have 3 to 5 African countries who are over 60 years. That means you have a very big problem at hand that you must look at it and address it accordingly. We have some common challenges of all the persons in Nigeria, ranging from the insufficient geriatric health services, both in the rural area, at the secondary, at the primary healthcare level, the secondary healthcare level, and the tertiary. Then the lack of long-term care services that we don't have at all. Then ageism, which is very common now. All over we've seen that people like me, even when we were doing this discussion, I had somebody who was saying, I hope I'm not going to be accused of being ageist. You understand? The issue of elder abuse is another common challenge of all the persons, discrimination and neglect of all elder persons, elderly, loneliness and social isolation, lack of social security usually leads to poverty in Nigeria, and issues related with the national policy on aging. The second, when we talk about the long-term system, we're actually trying to see how, as we know that the aging population are increasing in Nigeria at different rates in the states. So also the need for these long-term care services also are important to be actually be addressed. We need to sustain, we need to develop and sustain the equitable health system that will provide long-term care. We cannot achieve this or cannot have this long-term care system in Nigeria, you understand, until we actually address these 4 issues, or we actually have access to these 4 issues. One is the legal coverage of the long-term services. We need to have a legal approval, the funding availability for the services, which already we have the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, hopefully is going to actually help and address the issue. The trained healthcare workforce, which we know that Nigeria is grossly inadequate in terms of the geriatricians and the gerontologists in Nigeria. We need to actually ensure through high-level advocacy to ensure we have political commitment of our leaders. When we talk about a national policy on aging, this is also a very important. Nigeria, like many other countries in Africa, especially the sub-Saharan Africa. Hello? Hello? Are you here?
Go ahead, Saidu. Okay. I can hear you loud and clear.
Nigeria, like many other African countries, especially in the sub-Saharan, do not have a policy on aging, which is instrumental for effective healthcare and well-being of all the persons. However, in Nigeria, we have developed it, but it's not yet to be launched. We have a multi-sectoral national policy on aging. In Nigeria, we have done something that was launched by Mr. President in 2018, that is National Policy Framework on Healthcare for the Aged, which is very important, and that is the one we're actually following up as far as the Healthcare for the Aged project in the ministry. Nigeria is one of the only countries that actually achieved its own global strategy plan of action for 2016 to 2020 by the WHO in Africa, which were actually started from 2016 to 2020. By 2016, we actually came up with the concept of the HEPIQ-C project, Healthcare for the Aged, to ensure that we improve the quality of care of the healthcare of the older persons in Nigeria, with 4 thematic pillars: the clinical care, focusing on the geriatric care, to see how we're going to improve the geriatric medicine, the geriatric care in the country at the tertiary level, secondary and primary healthcare level. It is only when you improve this geriatric medicine and gerontology, you understand, you'll be able to actually address the issue of clinical care. And in as much as you address the issue of the clinical care, then the issue of the morbidity and mortality associated with the older person would actually drop, especially now that we're in this pandemic. The need to have this clinical care is very apt and is very important. Once we have geriatric medicine and we have this geriatric, we establish geriatric centers, then we'll be able to address the issue of the comorbidity, the pre-existing comorbidities as associated with the older persons that actually ravaging some of our older, the elderly people in the rural, especially in the rural areas. Then the issue, the second pillar is actually talking about the training of the healthcare workforce. The training of the healthcare workforce in Nigeria, we're able to identify what we actually need at the primary healthcare level, at the secondary level, and at the tertiary level. Sorry to come back a little bit back to actually talk more on the first pillar, that's the clinical care. The president actually, there's a presidential statement on the need to establish 6 regional geriatric centers. Currently, we have concluded health facility assessment and mapping of the geriatric centers at the tertiary hospitals. We are going to actually establish geriatric center in each of the geriatrics, in each of the geopolitical zones, 1 geriatric center, and we have already a developed geriatrics model. We're waiting for the presentation at the Federal Executive Council. The next pillar is the training, which I've started discussing. At the moment now, we have actually in discussion with the National University Commission on the commencement of the Masters in Geriatric Medicine. We have commenced certificate training in some of our institutions in geriatric medicine. Residency training program actually commenced at the National Hospital, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, University of Port Harcourt, under the colleges of National Postgraduate College of Medicine and National West African College of Medicine. We have also adopted in Nigeria, we have adopted WHO integrated care of all the person training tools that's going to be used at the primary healthcare levels. We have signed MOU with the universities, such as University of Birmingham City University, University of West London, and in collaboration with this university, we are sending the first set of Nigerians to go and study PhD in health and aging. The third pillar of this project is research and development. Nigeria, the Honorable Minister has approved the establishment, the composition of the Research Committee on Aging, with a specific reference, terms of reference, which the committee is going to be actually inaugurated soon. We have conducted some assessments from 2017 to date on numerous areas, and which shows that Nigeria is grossly inadequate in geriatricians and gerontology in the country, which were actually committed to actually produce, to come up with a way to solve the problem. Funds are actually being made available in TED Fund in terms of research on aging, you understand? So lecturers who are actually working in the universities, they can have access to funds in terms of research on aging through TED Fund. So details, if anybody is interested, actually wants to know more about this, you can actually, we help him to actually access such funds in terms of research on aging. The third pillar, the fourth pillar, is the community-based support on home-based care. Introduction, we're planning to introduce routine immunization and vaccination of elderly, which is very common in some of the advanced countries, you know. We're also going to promote, introduce and promote WHO adopted innovations on technology in a way to improve health services of the age. Because most of our people in the urban area where we can have application of the app, they are making use of the technology so they can have access this app that's actually produced by the WHO to be able to assess themselves, you know, on daily basis. And some of the pre-COVID achievement of the healthcare for the aged in Nigeria. Nigeria have achieved the 2016 to 2020 through the HEPIQ-C project. We have developed the national policy framework on healthcare for the aged in Nigeria. We have supported the development of the strategic development plan on healthy aging for the 2020 to 2024 in the West Africa region. We have concluded our facility assessment for the Geriatric Center in Nigeria for presentation at the Federal Executive Council. We have commenced the residency training. We are sending the first set of our Nigerian students to University of West London. We are compiling the all home cares and the carer database in the country. So all organizations or facilities that are actually into home care and also doing some other carers activity, you understand? So we are compiling their database. So if you know anybody who is actually into this kind of activity, please, you can let him know that he write officially to the ministry so that we actually capture the organization in our own database. We have also, the minister has also launched an elder-friendly hospital initiative, which is an initiative actually developed by University of Benin Teaching Hospital as a model for other teaching hospitals in the country. We are also working with the National Nursing and Midwifery Council to establish post-basic school of geriatrics in Nigeria. Currently, Nigeria, the minister has made a statement that the reviewing of the operational manual of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund to accommodate provision of the affordable health insurance through the National Health Insurance Gateway Scheme Gateway, where senior citizens over 70 years will actually be getting free health insurance through the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, while the retirees who are actually at the age of 60 will continue with their own health insurance till they reach 70 years, where they will switch over to Basic Healthcare Provision Fund that is meant for the free. They will switch over to the free health insurance, non-contributory health insurance scheme. We are also working with other ministry, that is Ministry of Women, now Ministry of Social Development, on the issue to ensure that we operationalize the National Senior Citizen, with the President actually assented the bill almost 2 years ago. And Nigerian Ministry of Health is also committed in terms of developing the alternative and complementary medicine. In terms of the COVID-19, what Nigerian Ministry of Health is actually trying to see how they're going to actually follow, because we know that this COVID is going to be with us for a couple of months or if not years. We have 4 thematic areas in terms of geriatric healthcare, how the people actually have universal healthcare coverage, provision of social security through social health investment, whereby people will be given some stipends, some palliative, and so on and so forth. Human rights-based approach. Human rights actually have now developed already a protocol and guidelines whereby healthcare workers, the frontline healthcare workers, will be making use of it so that they'll be able to know and protect the healthcare, the rights of the older persons in terms of the treatment. And in conclusion, what we're actually trying to do is to ensure that we have a health system that will focus on holistic needs of the older person, and essential knowledge required to effective care for the older person be disseminated among all health personnel through academic development like geriatrics and gerontology and partnership. We ensure the comprehensive and integrated care approach to health services at all levels is ensured. We also promote a strong and sustained commitment of all partners needed in both private and public to improve the care of older person during and after pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Collective effort of all stakeholders in the spirit of inclusiveness in order to address all challenges of older person during COVID-19 pandemic and post-COVID. So this is in summary actually what the Nigerian government is we have been doing pre-COVID and what we're actually doing right now in a bid to address the healthcare for the aged in the country. Partners are all actually encouraged to partner with us to collaborate in order to actually work together to achieve this goal. Together we stand to address this problem. Thank you very much for the time given to actually make this brief presentation. Thank you very much, ma'am.
So much, Dr. Ahmed Saidu, for this a very exhaustive, very educative presentation, and for taking us through the journey, of the work that have been done on the elderly, the aged in Nigeria, especially using the government structures in Nigeria. It's really interesting to note that a lot have been done within the very short period of time since you assume especially that position as a national coordinator. on the elderly. So we really appreciate you doing that, sharing the policies, the framework, the commitment, the highest level political commitment at the level of the presidency, and also the commitment of the Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Ihanire, and the efforts he has already made in trying to ensure that all these commitments are realized within the shortest possible time. This is highly commendable, and thank you for sharing all those information with us. I'm going to open it for discussion, but before I open it for that discussion, I'm supposed to do the bias cage, a brief introduction of our speakers, but why I put it aside, because they are not, 3 of them are not new to us. Most of them we are so familiar with them. And because 2, most importantly, because of the time constraint. We started slightly like 15 minutes behind schedule. So I wasn't sure if we're going to hear from these 3 experts that they can really do justice to time. So that was why I removed talking about their bias cage. But I think now I can tell you the people that have been talking to us today, starting from the professor who is Professor Yusuf Abdul Karim Drika. He has been a professor in the University of Zaria, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, a psychiatrist, a consultant psychiatrist. And he has been a lecturer in that university. He has done vast work in addition to his work, in the psychosocial and mental health in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He has a lot of experiences and a membership of several associations, including the International Psychogeriatrics Association of Nigeria. Internationally, actually, of course, a member of NMA and Association of the Psychiatrists. He was Secretary General, Psychogeriatric Association of Nigeria. Wow, he has that vast experience, and several publications have also been accredited to Professor Yusuf. So this is just very little on Professor Yusuf. I may not have done so much justice to it, but he is not new. Then Hajia Zainab, of course, Hajia Zainab is well known in Nigeria, especially during her time as the one Director General. Hello, can you hear me? Because one can get lost on them, and then you wonder whether people are hearing you or not.
Hearing you.
Until and then you find you are speaking to yourself alone. So Hajia Zainab, as I say, is a household name where she was very familiar with us on the national media. I was saying, especially during her time when she was the managing director, chief executive of the Nigerian Medicinal Plants Development Company, formerly the Atemesin Development Company, from 2008 to 2014. She has been a struggler, especially in the fight against anything that would be a barrier to the use of alternative complementary medicines and traditional medicine to boost immunity in Nigeria. She has always been a strong advocate of that. Currently, she's a pioneer director and head of traditional complementary and alternative medicine department of the Federal Ministry of Health. And it was her zealousness and commitment that led to the establishment of that department in the Federal Ministry of Health. She has been a member of several national, presidential, ministerial advisory committee, secretaries of such high-level committee from the presidential level and also at ministerial level. There's so much to say that I cannot exhaust here. But Hajia Zainab, we welcome you, and then we are glad you were able to share a little part of the knowledge, vast knowledge that you have in traditional complementary medicine, especially today at the time of the COVID pandemic that is also affecting Nigeria. And all of us, everyone is looking for ways to survive since there is no specific treatment to it. And we really commend and appreciate your efforts in moving that forward. Thank you, Hajia Zainab. Is she with us? Can you hear me all?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Thank you so much. And others can hear me, I guess. So now I go to briefly to tell you, you also know Dr. Saidu. Dr. Saidu has been very, very active. In fact, I would say Dr. Saidu is the person single-handedly that brought to limelight the need for healthy care of the elderly people in Nigeria. He's the one that mainstreamed that desk and established that desk within the Federal Ministry of Health so that the health sector will respond to that. I think even for that, Dr. Saidu, I said a big congratulations to you and the efforts that you have made single-handedly to ensure that today the care of the elderly is on the top agenda, is on the priorities of the Federal Ministry of Health, fully committed at the presidential level. Dr. Saidu, of course, is a trained medical doctor, a public health specialist from the University of London, and he is also certified by the WHO Healthy Aging Expert. So he has a certification on that, which is well recognized because of his expertise. He single-handedly moved the agenda on developing the policy framework on care of the elderly. And today, there has been a presidential announcement on that, a presidential commitment. And as Ministry of Health, we are pushing hard to see that the government, the current administration realize that. So Shaidu is also a member of the International Federation of the Aging. He's a member of National Research Committee on Aging in Nigeria and global leader advocate for healthy aging. So thank you so much, Dr. Saidu. Thank you for ensuring that care of the elderly also occupies the center stage within the federal government, and efforts are being made to ensure that we care also for the elderly in this country. And I'm particularly very happy that Dr. Saidu is in my department, the Department of Family Health. If not for your action, Dr. Saidu, the focus of family health has always been on reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child health. But because of the struggle he has made, he has ensured that the elderly are also a critical part of the family health department, and all responses towards delivering family health also includes the care of the elderly. So we continue to appreciate you, and this is a huge legacy product that you are leaving behind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So with having said that, I'm going to open it up for discussion. Time is not on our side. We have only 20 minutes, and then comments, and then we can round up the next steps. Thank you. So over to the audience. You can also do that by sending in either a chat or raising your hand to make your comments and inputs on all the presentations. Thank you. Okay. So I deliberately switch off my video because I was made to understand if your internet is low, a poor network, it makes it worse. So that was why I switched off my video. But I think it has improved greatly. So can we hear from the audience? At the moment, we have about 46 participants. So let's hear your opinions, your views, and then suggestions also for next step.
Hello.
Okay.
My hand's up.
Yes, I can see Professor Omon.
Thank you very much.
Yes, go ahead, Prof.
Thank you, Madam. I am so happy that this lecture is established, organized at this time to at least enlighten Nigeria and create a roadmap for people to see. I will be very happy to say that we are lucky to have a president like General Buhari. Nigeria is said to be about 4 to 5 countries put together, and we are 60 years old as an independent country. No traditional medicine research body is established all these years. But we like to blame that maybe traditional doctors are selfish. They don't want to bring out their formula. Well, I guess Zainab Sharif is a traditional doctor as well as a pharmacist. He's bringing out his formula for everybody to see. Let the president establish some traditional medicine research bodies in the 6 geopolitical zone across the country. Because if we do this, it will make us to leap forward. But if we do not do it, it will make us to go backward. It will also add a very big feather to the cap of Mr. President, who has done many things that were never done before. We are ready to show a lot of medicine that are so abundant in our country that are very efficacious. We cannot, if we do not show them, we have not done our best good, and we have not done the country good. We must have to look at what is happening in other countries. So please, let a research body where people will be very happy to produce their stomach, their hearts, bring it out for the benefit of this country, and Nigeria will be better for it. This is what I will have to say. Once more, I thank the organizers of this very program, and I believe that it is a way forward. But let research bodies be established in the 6 geopolitical zone. If we do not do it, maybe we say we have no money. It is a deceit. If we do it, it is a reward and an added feather to the cap of Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I'm sure we are going to note that your recommendation as our next step.
Hello, ma'am. One of our participants, Dr. Silva, wants to also contribute.
Yes, and I'm saying I'm giving her, I just saw her name here. So
yes.
I'm appreciating Prof. And I said his last word on that, I think should be taken as a recommendation and the next step.
All right.
So I will go, I have seen Dr. Sylvia Binder. And then the floor is over to you, Dr. Silva.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure being with all of you. And thank you for these wonderful presentations. Dr. Saidu, this is, of course, a very, very important task to take on. We need to take care of the elderly. You know, I'm a German citizen and also a United States citizen. I've seen many different countries. I travel lots. And I must tell you that one of the best systems I've seen is in Germany and Austria of how we care for the elders. Of course, there's different social impacts and different, structures available. So if I can be of any informational source to you, I would be happy to share. Not this is my expertise. My expertise is more in integrative medicine, and I'm also part of the Integrative Medicine West Africa group. And as such, I would like to say that I represent also a form of treatment that is very sustainable, and it is pulse electromagnetic fields that has helped the geriatrics of children, the regular normal aged people, let's say. So this will be another wonderful a resource besides herbs, besides the social interactions that these people need and goals and purpose for their lives. But if we take this device, if I can communicate further with you, we have wonderful success with diabetic foot, for example, where we only have amputation available. And it's costly and it's a very frustrating disease process. And we have nothing to offer in the allopathic medicine stream. So if I may connect with you, and you know, writing a letter to the Minister of Health is one way, but it takes forever, and we don't have forever. So if I can ask to please shortcut my way in to have a conversation, and that we can start is a study together in seeing how we can help improve people's circulation, their metabolic functions, reduce their pain levels, them sleeping better, and help their mental states. I'd be happy to be there with you. Thank you.
So much, Sylvia. I will, before the end, I will let Saidu to talk, but before he talks, being the head of the department, I think we will make it no bureaucracy. You can have direct connection and discussion with Saidu so that we can facilitate that. In terms of help, we need help. We need to learn from what has happened, especially in your country, because Nigerian population is also aging. Our traditional system, you know, of protecting the elderly people, unfortunately, it's also eroding. So we are caught up between the two. We are neither there with the care, and then a system that we have that has worked in the past, the extended family system, it's eroding. So in terms of help, we need help just like yesterday, if I may say. We need help from you. We need guidance, we need technical guidance in how to ensure that we set up an effective quality and access in an equitable manner to the elderly and the aging population in Nigeria. So I will leave with you with Saidu, who is our expert, to continue discussion with you on how we can leverage such opportunities. Thank you so much,
Madam.
Yes, before I go and ask the presenters, I want to ask if there are other comments and questions that are specific to each of the presenters, then they can begin to respond before we round up today.
Yes, my hands are up now.
Okay, who are you?
My name is Dr. Omokaro.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the Executive Director of the Dave Omokaro Foundation and the President of the Gerontology Association of Nigeria. I must say that speaking on behalf of the Gerontology Association, we are really very happy with the Federal Ministry of Health, the work that is being done and the framework that is developing that we are seeing. The presenters really made it so concise and so compact. I want to refer to the presentation of Professor Yusuf on the mental health of older persons, the impact of COVID-19. And in his recommendations, he talked about opening up a helpline and educating informal caregivers. I want to say that the way to fast track this, and in fact to fast track even what Haja Zainab said so succinctly about the efficacy of our herbs, is for us to maybe start to use the structures that we already have in the local government areas, the structure of family, the structure of the community structures. If we look at our rural areas, we see that we already have some networks. We have women associations, we have family unions, we have so much that we can start and integrate this with our primary care centers. If we can modify our primary care centers and bring in geriatric care, and then connect this to home and community care, I think we can fast track this. Because we already have something there. We already have a primary healthcare development agency. We have some primary healthcare centers. What we have to do is modify it, bring in geriatric care, and then begin the training of family caregivers, begin the training of members of this community, so that we can get psychosocial counseling and help to our older persons who are already suffering the effect right now. And then talking about what Haja Zainab presented, such wealth that we have. But I want to tell you that we also need to reorient. It should be a national orientation for people to remove the stereotypes about our health. She kept referring to it. And then the packaging, the promotion, and then also link this to the primary healthcare, because primary healthcare is there for preventive and for promotion. preventive health. So if our primary health care can work with these local government areas and then identify these things and then give literacy care, literacy, teach the older persons there on how to use these herbs and when to, what to eat, what not to eat. The point I'm trying to make is that the way to fast track this is to look at what we already have and then to modify to suit what we are talking about before we now start, to talk about those ones that will need major funding. I just want to say that I'm really so grateful to the Federal Ministry of Health. I thank you for what you're doing. It really gives us such peace of mind and such hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam President. We really appreciate your contributions. They are very, very valuable. There's no doubt about that. I think part of what I will ask the expert on our team, our Federal Ministry of Health, to include is integration, which is our focus, integration of the care of the elderly within the primary health care facilities and also at the primary health care level. This is exactly what we also supported, integration of mental health. So I think what we should begin to advocate now is that integration of care of the elderly, using the structure that already exists. And those structures have worked. It has worked for polio. Now it is beginning to work for COVID. So we should also use what we have, as you rightly mentioned. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Any other comment or input?
Dr. Salma, yes.
Yes.
Professor Kunle.
Okay, Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this program. I'm Professor Yemisi Kunle. I work with NIPRID, Idu, Abuja. I'm in the Department of Medicinal Plant Research and Traditional Medicine. My question is to Dr. Saidu. I'm trying to understand something. He said the aging population is increasing. By this, I want to understand that there are more aged persons. Is that so?
Yeah, the aging population is ever increasing in Nigeria.
Increasing, good. I'm trying to relate it with the life expectancy of 2020, which they say is 55 years. Then considering our health care, which is not free, and we know that many people don't have access to this health care, there's no insurance. I'm really trying to understand how the aging population is increasing, given all these challenges. You also mentioned some challenges under long-term care and the rest. So I'm really actually I've been thinking about that. How is our aging population increasing, given our health environment? You also mentioned something about training. I'd like to know whether this training is for only the medical doctors. Does it include other healthcare professionals like pharmacists, the nurses, orthopedics, and all that? Because the medical doctors cannot do this alone. If they are the only ones that learn about the aged, how do they get the support of the other health professionals? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Before I hand it over to the speakers to talk, let me quickly, our mother is here, our former Honorable Minister, Mrs. Josephine Aneni. I think we should hear the words of wisdom from our mother if she's still around. Honorable Minister Ma, can we hear from you briefly? If you are still with us, because
I'm very much around. But before any word of wisdom, I want Professor Yusuf to answer a question I had put on the chat. And that was, when he made his presentation, it was very clear and very succinct and very, educative. But I had the impression that he was talking about those who have COVID, elderly people who have COVID. And the question I asked him is that all those signs, all those symptoms, all those mental health issues that he mentioned, that elderly people who don't have COVID, but who are living in total isolation, who are living alone, are already experiencing those symptoms. How do you handle them? And you also mentioned that you suggested that there should be a helpline where people can reach out for help. you know it's not working. It can't work here because a lot of people don't have phones. Those who have phones don't have the money for recharge card. And of course, network makes it impossible. A lot of elderly people living alone are suffering all those symptoms that you said. Did you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, ma.
All right.
Okay, so I think, yes.
I'm
yes,
addressing Dr. Yusuf.
All right, so Dr. Yusuf, please take note of that so that you respond to it as soon as we are back to you.
Okay.
Any other additional comment or input? Yes, can I hear from Dr. John?
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Do you want to add anything or we move on to Dr. John?
No, my comment is to say a million thanks to the Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Health. Maybe because I'm elderly now, so I can feel their impact. I can feel their impact. And so I'm one of those that say that one of the best ministries now is the Ministry of Health. I want to thank Dr. Saidu. I want to thank all of you at the ministry for what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We extend that to the Honorable Minister directly, as you have said. Thank you, ma'am. So can we hear from you, then, Dr. John?
Please, my hands are up. My hands are up, ma.
Go ahead, Dr. John.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Dr. John Toagbide. I am the founder of in-country Medcare here in Abuja, well, integrated medicine. I would like to applaud, the wonderful presentations by the various presenters. However, I want to make this point. When we look at, our approach should be an integrated approach, as some of you have really alluded. We don't age overnight. And I'm sure Dr. Eze can articulate to that point, that I'm actually can support that point. And that's why he formed an association known as graceful aging. So it is really very important we don't look at the timing of aging. Because if we start to take care of it earlier, then age, that is my first comment. So it should be an integrated approach.
Your micro.
Back, what we can do before we get to that age so that we age gracefully. It should not be seen in isolation. The second point, Hajia extensively talked on the use of natural products and some of those things that we can help towards building our immunity. Yes, let's also put it, let's also link this. If you look at the subsistence ways of producing some of this, food, if the population, even the elderly, what we now call adults, aging, they alone, they cannot meet up. So our agricultural activities will also promote or think of producing this in our commercial larger scale. Hence, there is need for government to really help our people from moving from subsistence agriculture to commercialized agriculture, so that if we're producing tomatoes will be produced so that it will, the group, we have enough, not only them, but those who are just following, the whole population will be able to really, come along. This is what of these, advanced countries do, because they commercialize and produce this in large quantities. So thank you for the opportunity to make this observation.
Can we go to Dr. Emmanuel to also make his own inputs, and then we go back to the speakers to respond? I saw a hand raised. Is it Dr. Emmanuel?
Dr. Eze-Ajokwu.
Okay, Dr. Eze-Ajokwu. Okay, sorry, yes. Go ahead, please.
I want to sincerely thank the ministry for these 2 days, because it's been very educational and informative. My name is Senator Dr. Eze-Ajokwu. I am the president of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, and I'm also the founder of Graceful Aging Fellowship. And I want to testify that most of the things that pharmacist Zainab talked about have been very useful to my Graceful Aging Fellowship, and we've practiced most of them. I will be, for example, I will be 73 in September, but following the things that Zainab had raised, you know, juicing, all of those, I'm as strong, in my own opinion, as someone who is 50 years old and active. So whereas I'm an older person, the things that Zainab had talked about have been very, very useful to me. But talking about the coalition of the Societies for the Right of Older Persons, which is the coalition of all NGOs, CSOs, everybody working with the aging and for the aging, we want to thank the ministry, because yesterday I was one of those who were given 5 minutes to make comments. And I'm happy that some of the issues I raised at that time, you know, during the goodwill message, that Dr. Saidu had talked about them and reconfirmed that the ministry is doing something about them. The older persons and the senior citizens are anxiously, and I will say anxiously, waiting for some of these things to come into play, especially the non-contributory health insurance, you know, and of course, Dr. Mokara has talked about the synergy in using the primary health cares where most of our rural people are resident to improve healthcare in those areas. But I want to add that there is something we have continued to leave out. You know, I'm glad that in Dr. Saidi's presentation, he asked all those who have home cares to report to them and to register with them. I think we also need to consider in some of these rural areas and even in the urban areas, we need to look at issues about old people's home again, because some of the older persons that are alone, that have no children, you know, that are lonely, will need a place, either in form of home care or in old people's home. My coalition is trying to build a daycare center in Gwamba, in Suleja area, just to set the standard for what a daycare center will be, where older persons go there in the day, spend time, receive some treatments, you know, eat some good meal and go back home. Now, these are the kind of things that are lacking in our rural areas. And I want to encourage the ministry to please look at the possibility of establishing some more old people's homes. The ones that are in existence, especially in Lagos State, are doing very, very well. And a lot of older persons in those homes are very happy. I have a mother who is 101, and there are very many older people in my community. And I see some of them when I go home, they would make do with an old people's home or make do with a care home. So I want the ministry to also put that into consideration in the long term or the short term, you know, in whatever form it will go. But on the whole, let me say a very big thank you on behalf of all the senior citizens of this country for the promissory note on these improvements that are coming out of HEPIQ, and we can't wait to see them actualize. Thank you, Minister of Health. Thank you very much.
Joko, for your very valuable contributions to moving on forward. And I won't raise this maybe another discussion, because what we need from what you have just said now sounds to me more like what we're doing for the youth-friendly services as an integration of it within the primary healthcare level. So maybe what you describe is more of elderly people's friendly centers, isn't it? If I may put it that way, but centers, elderly friendly people centers. So we can look at that options in another meeting or workshop that we have, but it's something we can begin to think about. Is it a home? Is it a care center or is it a elderly friendly centers that we want to have in Nigeria, looking at our context where we are and then our cultural systems and all that, what strengths do we have and what are the weaknesses that we really want to address. But Dr. Saidu has noted that and he will comment. So I think I didn't see any hand up here. I might likely go to the, any comment? Go to the speakers to respond. And then give
sorry,
them.
Ma, before you go to them, sorry, Ma, before you go to them, the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons is really looking forward to working closely with the ministry because we are the recipients of all of these things.
Good. So we are willing to work with you, that I can tell you without making reference to my experts. We need all kind of technical support, technical guidance, civil society organizations.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. Saidu, can I talk?
Yeah, you can talk, but you have to be briefly because actually the time is we're shutting down.
In a nutshell, I've read the question posed by our mother, Mrs. Josephine Aneni. Actually, the burden of dementia, depression, this illness, I agree with you, exists even before the onset of COVID. What I'm trying to emphasize is that with the coming of COVID, it is likely to be worse. And then on the issue of use of telephones, toll-free lines, we have seen how it has been successful in terms of care for patients with cancer and also in the treatment of people living with HIV/AIDS, where use of phone calls is used to track the patients to ensure adherence to medication. So, and then I would also want to comment about, even though the question was to Dr. Saidu, on the issue of increased number of people that getting old in the developing countries, that's low and middle income countries. This is something that has been on in the last 1 decade. And we're not talking about absolute percentages. We're talking in terms of numbers. The number of people that are living longer now are much more than what we have about 3 decades ago. So thank you very much.
From pharmacist Hajia Zainab. Thank you, Professor Yusuf, for that, for responding to the issues and rounding up from your side. Can we hear from Hajia pharmacist Zainab responding, and also one key message that you want to hear as you wrap up?
This on your youth.
Okay, thank you very much. A quick one.
Yeah.
A quick one. Thank you very much. I just want to support the submission by Dr. Mokaro, the need at community level, and you have already mentioned it, there's a need for integration. At the community level, especially primary healthcare, we should be able to ensure that a unit is established for the elderly, whereby all these things we have mentioned, the care of the elderly in terms of mental support and nutritional support. And I think that will really help us. It's one of the best way to go. And you must also remember that as we grow older, our body is weak. That is why it's only natural things around us that are easily assimilated. So it is important that we continue. And I want to refer to what Professor Omo said about research is a very, very apt suggestion. And you should know that the Ministry of Health, through the support of the minister, is we are very serious about traditional medicine. What we can do for our own people. The Chinese, the Indians are doing it. We are already on
So I think Zainab's line
very soon the bill, the council will be established. And once there is a council, it is easy to us. And then the products, there are some products already listed. Hello? Let me try. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Zainab. You can hear you rounding up.
Okay,
Yeah, can
just
you
pick
round up?
one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, so that the products that are listed, that means listed by NAFDAC, are safe for consumption to boost the immunity, especially of the elderly, that they can try and get, especially with reference with what Dr. Eze said. I want to encourage setting up the small centers for them where they can always meet as elderly people to discuss, to socialize and pray and everything. It will go a long way in addressing the issue of the elderly holistically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hajia Zainab. We appreciate. So thank you, Hajia Zainab. Can we move on to hear, last but not the least, from Dr. Saidu, and then your wrap-up point?
All right. Thank you very much, Ma, for the opportunity to actually react to some of these issues that were raised. The issue of the helpline, the issue of social integration of mental health, care of elderly, alternative medicine at the primary healthcare level is very key. And also it's important to note that part of the HEPIQ-C project focus is not only is at the three levels, the tertiary level, secondary, and the primary care level. At the primary care level, we're currently reviewing the manual for the care of the elderly and also integration of the integrated care for all the persons, which is actually adopted, produced by the WHO, and actually we adopted, Nigerian government has adopted it. And we assure all the participants and stakeholders that in the next couple of months, you will hear us actually coming up with a new concept in terms of this integration of all healthcare for the age at the primary healthcare level, because that is the key. That's the way we go. Because if you don't do that, then certainly we will be like a desert cloud moving without definite destination. And the second issue, even it was answered by a professor, it is important to know that actually is not in terms of proportion, it's in terms of absolute numbers. And it is also important to know that as well, the health system is strengthening, we expect to see, and with the rural to urban migration that is happening, we expect to see the number of the people actually who are actually aging to be increasing. And naturally, aging people or older persons are not homogeneous in nature. Some are frail, some are non-frail. As you see, some of our colleagues, senior colleague who spoke, that the senator, at 70 is over 70, but he's still looking very strong, energetic, you understand? And some people may not be actually so fortunate to be at 80 or 70 years, they may be somehow looking frail, you understand? But all the same, we have to work together, you understand? I'm happy to discover many of the experts here on this platform, the like of Professor Yemisi and many others, you understand? We hope you are going to actually put hands on deck together to ensure that we actually work in the spirit of inclusiveness in order to achieve the desired goal to move our country so that we actually be happy to say that, yes, we have a country that is actually elderly friendly environment, you understand? Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me for this brief wrap up, if I can say. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saidu. And I like the way it ended, because the whole purpose is for us to have an elderly friendly environment. As we talk about equity, equality, and empowerment, we should also not forget to ensure that our elderly people have access to whatever social services are available, to essential healthcare services, because they will still have a lot of contributions to make to the national development. So having said that,
correct.
I think Saidu has already summarized the next steps in his final wrap up, and we will get back to you to ensure that we strengthen this partnership. We continue to struggle and to continue to work. We are not working for anybody, but working for ourselves, because it's only the lucky ones that reach that age of aging. It's only the very lucky ones that become elderly. So we are also hoping we are going to be very lucky, that like those that are lucky. Dr. Eze doesn't look 70 at all. Our mother, Josephine Aneni, whom I always say, I want to be like mommy, doesn't look at all. So there's modern technology has taken over the aging process. And you can imagine that if we have an environment that is elderly friendly, it will be much better. So thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. God bless. All right. Bye.
Great. 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 That's great. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, we can go. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
You didn't check your email box, and it's not good. Not doing that.
Yeah.
Your email, Tcam HEPIQ-C.